Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup. And good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. A lot of good things going on. Both soccer teams won. Girls going to host the Sweet 16 round. As soon as we get that time and date, we'll pass it along. The tennis team, girls are going to Sweet 16. Baseball teams getting ready for the first round state playoffs. So a lot of good things going on. Got the big golf tournament tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Fundraising event for the athletic department. So just going to be a good weekend.
It's going to be a good weekend. Weather's going to be nice for most of it. And late Sunday afternoon, we'll have some rain coming in. But it's going to be a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, it won't affect tomorrow, though.
No, it won't affect tomorrow. It'll be nice tomorrow.
It's going to be
nice.
fun.
Going to tee off at what, 8, 9?
8:15 is what they said.
8:15.
Early rise.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, we have a special guest in here this morning here on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. Who do we have, Bob?
We got Appleton County Sheriff Mark Melton in the studio. He came several weeks ago to promote a big event over there, but he's running for re-election. He knows we've got a lot of listeners in Appleton County. He's running some ads on our station, so just wanted to get you in and talk about your campaign. You're like Wayne County. You got 3 candidates over there in Appleton County as well. Is it the same in Wayne County, all 3 on the Republican ballot? It'll be decided most likely in May unless there's a runoff?
That's exactly right. We have 2 other candidates besides myself. They're all on the Republican ticket, so we hope May 21st we'll have a good resolution, but at the worst case scenario, we'd go to June to the runoff. But that's a good thing for me. I run a whole year the last election. That was tough on the body.
Which, asked before you sign on, like I said, and I talked to Chuck Moses about, you're a sheriff, so you got a full-time job, but you got to get out there and campaign as well. So how do you balance that?
Well, it's tough. I don't feel like I've been able to see as many folks this year in the sense of knocking on doors, just because when I get to that office, it's 2 or 3 o'clock before you can get everything done and broke away and get ready to go hit the street. But it's tough to do. I remember my first election. I was telling somebody yesterday, I think I went to about 75% of the homes in the county. But I was retired and didn't have anything to do but that, and it's a lot different.
I have a question.
Okay.
You're riding up to somebody's yard, and you're campaigning. You're going to go and knock on the door and ask for their vote and listen to their concerns. But when you get out of your vehicle and you're walking up with your sheriff's outfit on, do you see people run out the back door?
Well, excuse me. I generally don't go up there in my uniform.
You don't. You just go to plain clothes. Okay.
I do wear my weapon just because you never know who you're going to run into. To be quite honest with you, and in this sheriffing business, you're not always really welcome sometimes. So, but it's all been good. I tell you, in 3 years or 3 times of campaigning, this is the 3rd one for me. I've only run into a small handful of people that wasn't friendly no matter what the situation. People are interested in the politics of what's going on in their community, and, you're not going to get them all.
No.
You're just going to try to work with everybody, and I found that people are generally, even, if I pull up and one of my opponents has a sign in their yard, generally they're very friendly and want to hear what you got to say. Doesn't mean they're going to vote for you, but that's what happens in a small community. People are they're community oriented and they get along, generally speaking.
And just joining us in the studio is Appleton County Sheriff Mark Melton. We're seeking re-election. A long history of law enforcement. Just for people that may not know who Mark Melton is, talk about your career in law enforcement.
I went to college in Valdosta and graduated in 1985. Took my first job as a probation officer in Brunswick, Georgia. Stayed there just a couple months, and the opening came in Baxley, and they offered me the job, and I was like, "Where in the world is Baxley, Georgia?" Didn't think I'd ever been there, but I actually had played baseball there in high school against the Appleton County Pirates, and I remember going to the Wiener King after the ball game, and I'm like, "I've been to Baxley," and so. I accepted that job thinking that I wouldn't be there, but it'd just be a stop on the pathway of something greener down the road. But I fell in love with Appleton County, and I found that it's probably the best place in the world to be to me. And so I stayed with probation for about 20 years. I left probation in 96, and in 2006. and went to the district attorney's office working in Baxley for Appleton, Wayne, and Jeff Davis counties as an investigator. Retired from the state in 2016. In March, ran for office in April and May, was elected in May, and went to work June the 1st for Ben DeLoach, who was the sheriff at the time, and have been there ever since. And it took sheriff's office January 1, 2017, finishing up my second term, looking for my third term.
And happens similar like Wayne County. I got to ask you, here in Wayne County, the big drug seems to be fentanyl. A lot of people are getting involved in that, and a lot of people are dying. Is it the same thing in over in Apple County? Why is fentanyl such the key drug right now?
Well, I'll tell you that obviously the meth is the real big drug, but fentanyl is the drug that we're concerned about because it is affecting people's lives. It's taking lives. It's unreal how many people we have actually had that overdosed, and then we've saved literally dozens of people with this Narcan. It's a miracle drug for those that have overdosed on fentanyl type product. And but I believe it's because our borders are wide open and the drugs are coming across, with no restriction, basically. And so there's just massive amounts. And, I tell people all the time, I can do a lot. And sheriff's office and police department and these communities can do a lot, but it's going to take a very strong push from our federal government to stop this.
Yeah, Congressman Carr, we got him on a regular basis, and that's his main topic. We talk about the border and what's going on down there.
Yeah,
he said it's just people crossing, and it's just all those drugs are coming in across the border.
Rio Grande's not the Omaha.
No, no.
You can't walk across the Omaha. Rio Grande is like a large ditch in some parts.
That's right.
You can just walk right across it and come right in, and then get in here, and the feds will take care of you. They'll put you up in housing and feed you and put you in school, give you a driver's license, everything free.
It's amazing.
How do we get involved with that?
I tell you, I want some of that myself sometimes. We was out, and me and probably 50 or 60 other sheriffs went out to Texas to the border back in September of last year, and it was an eye opener to see what's going on, and just they're working it, but they can't control it with what they put there. They got to put more resources.
Yeah. One event that just recently took place was that Law Enforcement Appreciation Dinner. Wayne Dasher does that over in Glen. Chad was there with his Cadillac Rise Again, but I know you were there for that. How'd that go?
Actually, I was not there for that. I was in Washington, D.C. on that day and was not able to be there, and I hate it. I'd normally go. Wayne does a great job with that. It's a big event. It's a pretty good-sized political rally, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, a lot of politicians there.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of power in that place on that day, and so I hated that I couldn't be there, but I was up in D.C. I went to the Capitol and tried to meet with my congressman to talk about some issues, but they were actually at the Wayne Dasher thing. So we talked, and we didn't make a good connection, but we had a great
That's
time.
funny.
And so I did get to talk to Buddy and Congressman Buddy Carter, and we always have good conversation. I think Buddy is trying to help us as best he can. That's a tough job, to be quite honest with you.
Well, being a sheriff's a tough job. So, what's the hardest part of the job?
Well, I don't know. Making those tough decisions, you always got. You as a sheriff, you got to make the decisions that are not popular, and with social media, it makes it even harder. You can't win no matter what you do. You try to do the best you can. You try to make the best decisions that are to be made, and the politics of it with social media is a nightmare, to be quite honest with you. But generally, just working with the people seems to be, to me, is the best part. I love being able to talk to folks and see them and help them when I can. Obviously, you can't help everybody, but you can help some, and most of the time you are able to give good advice and to put them in the right direction. I'd tell you that probably 40% of the problems I deal with every day are not law enforcement. It's just general people problems. People have all kind of issues, and they need somebody to see and talk to give them guidance and direction. And I often compare what I do as a pastor. You know, it's if you have a pastor that you sit under in your church and you see how they have to, you know, go about their daily business and deal with everybody's problems. That's what you do in the sheriff's office. You're dealing with everybody's problems.
Yeah, it's a 24/7, 365 days your job. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I tell you, I put my cell phone number out there. If I'm not in the office, most of the time they know they can reach me, and it's been pretty amazing. I have lots of people say, I bet they keep you up all times of day and night. But the truth is, I very seldom get calls after 7 or 8 o'clock. Most people realize they can get me when they need me, and unless it's an emergency, they don't bother me too much during the afternoon hours. So I'm very pleased with that.
How big is the Appleton County Sheriff's Department? How many employees do you have?
We have close to 80 full-time and part-time entire staff. That's we operate the 911 center. We operate the Appleton County Detention Center, the sheriff's office, and so we have about 30 law enforcement officers, close to 30, about 27 correctional officers, and then 13 dispatchers, and then admin staff.
Right. Again, we appreciate you coming in. Like I said, we've got a lot of listeners in Appleton County. Like I said, I see you at all the sporting events. I know you're a big sports fan. Every time I go to Appleton County, Wayne County sporting event, I see you in the stands. So.
Yeah, we're excited. I was just told in the last day or two I hadn't been able to make the games as often as I wanted to this year, but I think we won first place in the region. It was a 3-way tie, and I think they decided it based on records, or I'm not exactly sure how they decided it, but I think we fell out in first place in the baseball. Our tennis is doing great. I think we made it to the top, or to the Sweet 16 as well, and soccer seems to be doing good. Our athletic program is really good at Appleton County. We're very pleased and excited for them.
Yeah. Well, again, when they go to the voting booth over in Appleton County and they need to vote for sheriff, they see the 3 names. Why should they vote for Mark Milton?
Well, experience matters, and I can tell you, I didn't learn to be the sheriff, and it took me. I had a lot of good experience, but being the sheriff is what qualifies you best to be the sheriff. I can tell you learn from hard knocks sitting in this seat what needs to be done at the next turn. And so being here, sitting in the seat as sheriff it's bigger than any experience that I had. Being here doing it is what makes you able to really be the best sheriff.
Again, as we mentioned, you were in the studio several months ago promoting a big event, where you have all kinds of school children, things like that. How'd that event go?
Oh, man, it was great. We had, we think we had close to 3,000 citizens and students on campus. We cooked 2,300 hamburgers and 500 pork chops, and we didn't have but a handful of them left over. So we know we fed, 2,700 people, and we know a lot of them didn't eat because they'd already eat or brought their lunches. We had students from 6 counties besides our county attend, which is the first time that's happened for us, and it was just huge. We had 70 agencies, close to 70 agencies that were there, promoting their agency, showing their wares, and just a great event. People love it, and the children, and I say the children, we target the middle school and the high school, obviously, but we're really trying to capture those middle school students to get them focused and looking to a career, setting a goal, so that they don't get messed up before they get there to be able to work in some of these career paths.
One thing I forgot to ask you, tell us a little about your family.
Okay, I'm married to Dawn Carter, who is the daughter of Virgil and Betty Carter, and I have one daughter, Marley Melton, and she's 27, works at Pierce County School System as the occupational therapist, and we're very proud of her. I was born and raised in Lakeland, Georgia. My mother's still living, and I go check on her pretty regular. So we got a great family. I married into a great family, and I tell people all the time, I probably would have never been elected sheriff if it hadn't been for Dawn and her family and her connections. they were a well-known family across the county. So she has helped me tremendously, not just in my day-to-day stuff, but by her presence. She was a teacher. She's retired now, but she worked 38 years in the school system, and she knows everybody, to be quite honest with you.
Well, here in Wayne County, we got several events. We got one coming up Monday, Politics and Pizza, where the candidates are going to be there for people to have anything like that going on in Appleton County.
Yes, actually, tonight we're having a public forum. It's hosted by a local group of folks that are interested in the community. So we'll be at the Ag Center tonight. It'll be all the candidates that would choose to be there. I think we'll have a question and answer forum type scenario. We're excited about that. It's, those things always make me a little nervous. You never know what you're going to get asked, but those are that's part of being able to do this job. You got to be able to think on your feet, and people are going to ask you some bizarre questions sometimes, and you're going to have to come up with the right answer most of the time, and try to be the right answer. So it's always a challenge, but I'm looking forward to it. We also, my campaign is having a meet and greet on April the 30th at the new swimming complex, the new pool complex that we have. So we're going to cook hamburgers and hot dogs and have just anybody that wants to come out. It's not a fundraiser. Just come out and enjoy the afternoon swimming. Bring your kids. We'll feed you something, sweet after you eat a hamburger, and just enjoy your time. And that'll be a great time for citizens to come ask questions that they've been wanting to ask that maybe I didn't get around and knock on the door and give them that opportunity. But we're excited about that. And then obviously we're in the short rows now. We are, the election is May 21st, and early voting starts April the 29th.
Right,
so
it's right around the corner.
Yes, it's right around the corner.
Just, again, we want to remind people, if you've not registered to vote, the last day to do that is April 22nd. So, again, you have to be registered to vote. So, how about your turnout in Appleton County? Is it pretty good turnouts? I mean, we just had a East Bloss election with only less than 19% of vote. Hopefully it'll be better with this political race. But how's the turnouts in Appleton County? Generally,
we do good, 50 to 65%, somewhere along in there. It's different. I suspect that this election will be big for us because I think we got 27 candidates in Appleton County running. There's a candidate in just about every position, not all of them, but there's quite a few candidates. So, that stirs up interest. It touches every family. So I expect there'll be a good turnout in May, and then, it won't really affect the sheriff's outcome, but I think the November election will be big too.
Yeah, with the presidential race, there'll be a huge turnout. So.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you're like Wayne County, all three sheriff candidates on that Republican ballot. So, like I said, May 21st, if there's a runoff, I think it's sometime in June. But,
that's correct.
Again, we just appreciate you coming over. Like I said, I tell people all the time, it's amazing to me. I talked to some friends of mine in Bachelor. It's amazing how many people over there are tuned in each and every day to the local news and sports and the Butch and Bob show. So we appreciate their tuning in, and so we appreciate you coming over.
Well, I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to come over and speak to my citizens, speak to y'all. I'm thankful every day. I'm blessed and highly favored, and I just thank you again for letting me be here. Thank you for the time, and I'm excited about what the future has for me personally and what the future has for Appleton County, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Sheriff. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much.
Appleton County Sheriff Mark Melton, our special guest this morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Any final words you want to wrap up with, Bob?
Just have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend. Sounds good to me. All right, the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup has been brought to you by First Southern Bank, by Van's Barbecue, by Murphy Builder Supply, and by O'Quinn & Associates. And coming up in just a few moments,